I am Alexander Pope Jr. I've been living in Aiken, South Carolina all my life, 66 years. I grew up in Aiken and pretty much resided here, as I said, all my life. Uh, as it stands, what I know basically about the face jug is what my grandfather shared through my father to me. And my grandfather moved into the Aiken County area in the early 1900s. And he resided in a place known as the Shallow Baptist Church area, where we still own property there. In 1955, my grandfather passed away. As my father and I, and someone in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 years old, were cleaning up the remnant from my grandfather's home, I spotted this. What I didn't know was a jug that looked very unfamiliar. It had a strange looking face on it. So I asked my dad, I said, well, what is this? And he said, well, that's what they call a face jug. He said, this jug is actually given to my dad from Mr. Dave. And I said, well, who is Mr. Dave? He said, Mr. Dave is the gentleman that owned the pottery in Edgefield. I never gone to the pottery. My father never took me there. But he went on to tell me that the face jug has a little bit of a history to it. It kind of lends itself to spiritual values from Africa. And they used to use the face jug as a means of warning off evil spirits. Okay? Now that I don't know very much about, didn't really understand what my father was saying, but he went on to tell me that there are different faces on different jugs. In other words, not all the jugs have the same face on it. But he did tell me that every jug you see that came out of Dave's factory would have a happy face to it. Teeth would be showing. He said that the jugs came in different sizes. Some were small and some was large enough to be used as doorstops and even slop jars. Now, you don't know probably what that term really is, but back in the day when they didn't have running water in homes and there were no bathroom facilities, if you had to use the restroom at night, you would use this little slop jar, which in that time was a face jug, and it was large enough to be used. The one that my grandfather had was large enough to be used for that. Those face jugs are also used, according to what my father said, as water storing tools. In other words, because they didn't have water in the homes, they would use those jugs in order to store water to drink out of. Basically, they were used for many purposes. And I guess the whole thing that my grandfather and father was trying to convey to me, basically my father, was at some point in time, even though this jug does not mean very much to me, it will be valuable in years to come. Now, what happened to the first jug? I don't know. My grandfather had several big wash pots. You probably don't know what a wash pot is. But there were several big, large wash pots. After he passed away, we have no idea what happened to those, just like we have no idea what happened to the face jug. But I do know that if you go to some of the rummy shops, you can see all kinds of things that people have collected from various places. So I would imagine that even the wash pots, the face jug, and some of those other items that my grandfather had was confiscated and taken to those places.